Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to 5 Points to Argue, where I give you 5 points, my opinions, and we just go from there. Again, it's a platform where a video, sorry, where I allow you to engage as well via comments, and I will engage back. But in saying that, I think it's really good to sort of talk about the round that was, and 5 points we learned from it. So in saying that, let's get into it. Port Adelaide. Um, I am very concerned about this club, particularly for their fans, especially for those people who had them rated very highly in the ladder there. They are currently, as it stands, basically last place, and as it sort of looks for them, it's not a good place to be. Now, obviously, against Melbourne, there was all that G up that they're going to do something, that they're going to bounce back, they're going to rally the troops, and all that stuff. And unfortunately, nothing has happened. They've lost their literal last four games, and now they're playing Carlton away over to MCG, and Carlton lost their game too. And again, we know what happens to good teams usually who lose; they usually win the next game. I am not sure if Port Adelaide can continue to look like this, be like this, act like this, walk like this. Particularly with the way Hinkley is, I'm hearing a lot of things about him, and I'm reading on social media. A lot of the fans want him out. But again, how much support can a club put for a coach who's just not delivering? Again, we always go to that crossroad where it's coaches or is it players? Because obviously Hinkley's not out there handballing, he's not out there kicking goals, he's not out there tackling or missing tackles or not being where they should be or applying pressure. That's not where he is. But unfortunately, it does translate to his coaching. Now, in regards to the philosophy and the way he's talking, it's definitely dipped from what it has been. I feel for myself personally, especially looking at Port closely in the last couple of years, it's as if they've been on a roller coaster that sort of went up and then absolutely dipped right down to the bottom of the barrel. And in saying that, it just hasn't been the same. I don't think anyway for them. Many people are saying that I think Port's good run or window is closed, and I had it open for this year. I definitely did. I was really backing him, but you know what? I think it's closed for a while now, and I think Port Adelaide, in terms of being competitive, look, they might be there, around there, but I just don't think they're going to be in the thick of it this year. And yeah, like I said, should we be worried? I think we should be. Will Hinkley get fired if they lose this game? Well, the question is to Port, how many times can you guys handle the losses? The continuous barrage from media, your fans, and I'm sure even the players themselves secretly behind closed doors. But again, it is what it is, right? But it depends on what Port want to do. Do they value their club? I'm sure they do. Do they value their standards? I'm sure that they do. So the question is, what are you going to do about it? Anyway, what here for me is, well, Carlton. Carlton were touted to go very far, and look, granted, it's only going on to round five, so I'm not here to put the cross through them, right? But in saying that, they did definitely get a reality check against the Suns. Again, I'm a massive Blue Abroad fan, so I love watching their stuff. Shout out to Pommy and Oz as well. He's just a very good watch along dude for sure. One of the best anyway. I watch a lot of sport, and I'd say Pommy and Oz is probably the best, or if not one of the best, in the top tier for me anyway, of YouTubers I love to watch when it comes to watching his respective team play. That being Carlton. But yeah, look, they look like Carlton of old. If you understand what I'm talking about, whether you're a fan or not, you get what I mean. In terms of just not applying pressure, in terms of just probably not the best sort of footy you're seeing, that was them. And it's so funny how they did a literal 180, I think, a literal 180 in terms of playing form. They won their first three games. Some may argue that things were probably starting to fall apart against that Hawks game, and they were lucky to just win that game. You may argue that. And you may argue that maybe the first two games were just a flash in the pan. I'll stop, but you get what I mean. But are we seeing possibly the downward spiral? Now, again, against Port, these two teams I think are very talked about, in my opinion anyway. Yeah. Against Port here, they've got to win this game. I think both teams do, and I think that's probably the beauty of this game. These two teams, you need to win it for different reasons. But yeah, are they, or were they, or have they been, can they sort of rise from where they were? I hope so. But I'll just say, especially with Cripps out, he does add so much fire to what they want to do and what they want to try and establish, I think, anyway. And so for them to, again, get that reality check from a Suns team that weren't too strong too, by the way. A lot of people had them winning. So I can't imagine how the Blues fans will be going. But in saying that, yeah. What are your thoughts? Are they going down? let me know. Another team I want to talk about as well is Collingwood. Now, we know they've lost their last two games, that being against the Cats, where they're dominating, and in the fourth quarter they fell apart. And I think, they had a good comeback against the Eagles, and then they fell apart. Obviously got a new coach, new system, but are things just about going to look the same over there in Collingwood? Much like Carlton, it's so funny because there's some teams you just expect to have rise, and I think they rose really early. And granted, I know it's just round 5 coming around the corner, but still they've risen, and then they've sort of fallen back just a little bit. And again, you're sort of questioning, well, were we too early to sing their praises? Again, with Collingwood, you could argue that they should have won the game. The behinds there were absolutely insane compared to the Eagles, but that's what happens when you're not accurate. That's what happens when you don't take your goal kicking seriously. That's what happens when you verse a team who does, in turn take their goal kicking seriously in the Eagles. Look, in saying that, though, with the Pies, they do have obviously their upcoming fixture against the Lions, so they could be staring down the bottom, or they could be staring down the barrel of 3 losses in a row. For a team that was much talked about, particularly earlier on in the season, I think the fans are just a little bit more quiet now. It's not great. It's not good odds, honestly. I don't think it is, particularly for the Collingwood fans, especially if they lose this game. If they lose this game, I believe they're in the bottom 10, and they just hang on by a thread, currently 8th place. But against the Lions who lost, they're going to make easy work of them, I think, anyway, particularly at home. I don't know how they can win this game, how they can pull it off. They had their chances, though, against the Cats as well as Eagles. I'm sure they'll be ruining at that, man, because they definitely had their chances. But hey, it is what it is. It's what footy is, So again, Collingwood. Did we sing their praises too early? You let me know. Tigers, Richmond Tigers. Now they've been the surprise packet. It hasn't been the most consistent footy from them. It's been loss win type thing. But again, it's without Dustin Martin. It's without Presti. It's a lot of their footy is done without some of their key players. Now again with Richmond, they were the favourites for quite some time. Obviously, we know their dominance, right? 3 wins in 4 years, and I'll still argue if they'd beaten Collingwood, they would have won 4 in a row. I hold that. I personally hold that. But it wasn't meant to be. Anyway, Richmond, they're one of the most dominant teams at one stage in the history of AFL, I think, anyway. Look, they're rising up, and I think it's a good thing. It's like, for me, I think personally it's a good thing to see Richmond rise. Obviously, if you're very against Richmond, if you want to argue that point, so to speak, you probably won't see it that way. But I think it's actually good for footy when Richmond are on the rise. I just think, they sort of bring some sort of flair to the competition, and I'm not going to tell you my thoughts on them personally, but, I don't mind seeing Richmond play. And I think it's a good thing for the game. But in saying that, obviously, they've got the Crows, so there's that potential to actually string a few wins together, potentially. But, look, it hasn't been consistent, but they've been doing some good stuff. Again, remember against Carlton in the first game, there were patches there where they're brilliant, and then they sort of fell apart in the fourth quarter. So for me, if they sort of string things together, I think they can get somewhere. And to be fair with you, I think this is a good way to go about things. So yeah, Richmond, for me, I'm happy. I mean, it's good to see them. It's like a roller coaster, but if they keep it up, I do see them being in the top 8 for sure. Absolutely. As to how far they go in the 8, I'm not going to answer that one. But if they keep it going, I think they can. Anyway, this game against Crows will be very telling as to where they are. It could be probably a step forward or backwards into our premiership glory for them. Lastly, I want to talk about Fremantle Dockers. Freo are currently at 3rd place. Now, as much as I really want to gloat about this and boast about this and wave the party hat around, there's a reality to this in that Fremantle did lose to Saints, who are pretty good at the moment, who are 4th. But we beat the Crows just. We beat West Coast Eagles. To be fair, it was a good win too. And we beat the Giants. But, there's a lot of noise going around that they weren't the best of teams. And look, granted, I agree. Even though we're in 3rd place, I'm happy and I'm taking it. The reality is, for me, as one-eyed as I am being a Freo fan, I still want to, I still want to see them versus bigger teams who are, stronger and all that stuff. I think that's where it really counts. A team like Essendon, who are their bogey team, if they can get over them, then sure, you can sort of be a little bit more confident. But again, I'm talking about the teams like Melbourne, the Lions, Cats, and to be fair with you, a team like the Saints that we lost to. Granted, we lost by 10 points, and we did well to catch up. So again, there's a little bit of good there in that win. Now, I'm not here to take away from it, like I said, the positioning and everything like that. No, not at all. But, it is what it is. And again with the Fremantle as well. Yeah, you just have to wait and see. But I think they're slowly trying to build for something. That's my point anyway. What are your thoughts on that? But yeah, I think it's good to see them third. But like I said, they've probably got to lace up against high quality teams. And I'm sure we've got a very big fixture coming up ahead of us anyway after the Essendon game. But first things first, get over Essendon. But yeah, it's good to see them third place. I'm sure a lot of people didn't have them at third place. They're up there with the big heavyweights for now. Can we stay there? That's the question. But yeah, that's been my 5 talking points there. It was more of a team edition as opposed to just general news. But I'm saying that it is what it is. Give me your thoughts. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. And just remember, hey, to your team, good luck, all the best. Take it easy. See you next time. And just remember,